Hey guys, welcome back. If you've been following along this far, you'll know that our next step in our building process is getting our gravel around our concrete pad leveled and graded, as well as getting our Sono Tubes filled with concrete and our J-bolts placed so that we can start erecting our building. Something that you got to do before you bring in gravel or any kind of fill rock is making sure that what you're going to be putting it on is nice and level and consistent, so that you have consistent depth of how much rock you have to bring in. Something I wish I would have done was to take the grade that I'm putting here before I put the fabric down deeper than I did. I went about a foot below my concrete grade, but I wish I would have maybe went 1.5 to 2 feet. And the reason being is, sometimes I've noticed if I have the bucket too deep, or with the plow truck with the snow, if you go too deep on accident and it's a soft spot, you'll hit the ground and scoop up some dirt, and you see that fabric come through. So I definitely give yourself plenty of room between the top of your rock and the fabric. The fabric we used was from sandbaggy.com. It's a geotextile fabric. It's supposed to help with basically the pit run that we're bringing in right here being mushy. It just kind of gives it a good footprint, and it also prevents it from mixing in with the soil that we were grading at the beginning there. It's quite a job getting all this rock and gravel in, but I'm really liking the way it's turning out, and I still haven't brought in rock on top of it, but I plan to do so here shortly. Once we got all the fabric covered up with fit run, we pretty much haven't worked on it since. I plan this spring to get some more rock put up on top of the pit run just to make it a nice finish. Something you got to make sure you do is, before you start putting nice decorative rock on top of that pit run, make sure you're done digging so that you don't have to dig up and mix the pit run with anything that you put down. That's pretty much all for this part of the video. Up here next, we're going to be setting the Sono Tubes and pouring the Sono Tubes from incredible concrete and setting our J-bolts. So what we're doing here is we're setting the Sono Tubes on top of the footings that we had poured previously. We use the laser level to know how much to cut off the Sono Tubes. We set the laser level to the floor grade of the concrete, and then set the Sono Tube on the footing, and then set the laser next to it, and with a marker marked in a couple different spots where we needed to cut. I've seen people use a string line and wrap it around the Sono Tubes to get a nice straight line. We didn't do that. We felt like we were able to get it pretty good, so that's how we set those, and then just making sure that they stayed in place as we backfill them, shovel in here. We got the Mini X, but you don't want to mess up where you have the Sono Tube set, and sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to not get a little get carried away with the mini excavator. Anyone that's poured concrete before know what it feels like, right when you first hear the truck and you see it rolling up to you, hoping you're all ready and set to go. I've mentioned it before, but this company, Incredible Concrete's a local company. They have a ready mix plant on the truck. And it's super nice because you don't end up using more concrete than you're needing, and it seems pretty cost effective. And they're also really good with small jobs and even big jobs. They were the company that we used to pour the 65 yards for the concrete pour of our concrete slab. They've been great to work with. Like mentioned previously, what we did to ensure that the bolts and the bolt pack were lined up perfectly 20 feet from the J-bolts that are in the existing concrete slab is we used a string line and a tape measure, and we just ensured that the string line was straight and that the length from the J-bolts on the edge of the building were exactly 20 feet to the J-bolts that we were placing into the Sono tubes. That's a wrap. Just got all 4 Sono tubes poured. Pour went really good. Incredible Concrete. Shout out to them. They help out a ton, and we didn't waste any concrete, so no extra fees with that. We got our J-bolts set down inside of them. Those are going to correspond with the J-bolts on the building. It's a 20-foot lean-to, and so yeah, it's exciting. We'll have a nice covered area to drive our cars in, and hopefully, everything with the prep of the footing inside of them and the columns is all going to be good with the rebar and everything. So yeah,
saying I can't get better. I promise they all lying on my confidence. Yeah, that's right. Look, I don't think it's time you start using your common sense. Everybody watch out, cause the bomb is lit. I got that confidence, that's right.